So, this is a test of a new thing I am trying that is basically, how can I explain this? Recording through QuickTime using photo booth. I'm not sure if it's working correctly the way I want it to, but we're giving it a shot here. And hopefully the audio is getting picked up through that microphone instead of through my laptop. Set it that way. Hopefully it works. Okay, so with that being said, hello everyone. How are you? This is eCarm32. I am basically recording a solo. I'm recording solo today. Let's just move the camera just a bit. That's a lot of light. It's not too bad though. So I'm recording solo by myself, trying something different with this QuickTime recording thing with photo booth instead of using FaceTime. Not sure if it's going to work very well. I'm hoping it does. But with all that being said, thank you for bearing with me. Hello everyone. Welcome back to In the Parking Lot. This is your host, Elias Carr, aka eCarm32. I am here by myself. No one's around me. No one is around me. No one is around me. Okay. So basically, usually I have my buddy Ant here. And usually there wouldn't be a video component. But, being that I'm trying something different, and I figure, hey, I thought to myself, hey Elias, your YouTube channel exists. Well, your podcast exists on a YouTube channel. And with the YouTube channel, I have my phone here in case I need to look up anything when I start talking about Toy Story 4. That is the movie we were talking about today. We were talking about Toy Story 4, by the way. But with that being said, let me take a little sippy sip. So, like I said, this is In the Parking Lot. I'm trying something different. I figured, hey, Elias, your podcast exists on the YouTube channel. And with that being said, we tried recording last episode on my iPhone using the camera on there front facing to record our conversation because we figured, hey, I got my GarageBand recording the audio, so the audio is going to be a lot better than through the laptop, which is what I'm currently using. Is basically like a webcam if you're familiar with laptops, the MacBook Pros, especially this camera here. Boop, boom, in your face. Okay. So that camera doesn't shoot the best quality, but what it does do is it actually shoots. So the issue I was running into was I was using my iPhone and I was recording it. I had it propped up. It looked nice. And we were both in frame in my room at my house. So that's why like the background isn't immaculate. But basically we were doing that to try to bring the video part of YouTube, so it's not just a blank screen saying In the Parking Lot, which is good and it's served its purpose so far. But we figured, hey, this is YouTube. YouTube generally a video platform. I know sometimes I like to just listen to music without watching the video, but it helps if, how can I put this? It helps if there's a video part of what I'm talking about. So basically, long story even longer. Basically, I tried to use my iPhone to shoot, and it worked. Obviously, it shot. I think it was an hour and change, if I remember correctly, for the last review. Which was, what was it? God, I haven't done this for so long. I've been sick and doing other things, family stuff and life stuff and things like that I kind of forgot what last episode was about. I kind of feel bad for that. But with that being said, I'm looking into buying an actual video camera so I could set it up, have it shoot us while we're doing said podcast, and hopefully my MacBook doesn't give me a complete headache like it did last time, because for whatever reason I can't transfer videos from here to my laptop, even though there's like AirDrop and all these other things that people use. Sorry about that. Not a Pistons fan. It's just a cool shirt, and the logo reminds me of my childhood, my kids. I don't have any kids. But anyway, I'm rambling. Wrap it up so we can start talking about this Toy Story movie. Basically, for whatever reason, my iPhone couldn't transfer the video to my laptop so I can edit through GarageBand and iMovie, the free applications, because I don't really have too much income to put into this outside of, let me get rid of that spot there on my head. Okay, so outside of basically, I lost my train of thought. Anyway, long story short, I have this light and it's really bothering me. I don't know why. That's not good. This is just as bad. Okay, here we go. So work in progress. I apologize. Turn my gain. Oh, this is going to be terrible for headphone listeners. I apologize. Fuck it. We're holding it here. It's going to look weird as fuck on video, but who really cares? So basically, I couldn't. Sorry about that. So basically, I couldn't take my iPhone video, which was an hour and some change, and transfer it to my MacBook so I could edit it with the editing software I have, being iMovie, and I use my audio. I edit my audio and record my audio usually on GarageBand. So for whatever reason, that wasn't working very good. This might be a decent solution, but I kind of like having GarageBand up and recording, because I feel like, you know, when you see the basically audio streams and things like that, you do little adjustments or turn down the volume, turn up the volume, things like that. So yeah, hopefully camera coming soon. Hopefully recording podcasts coming soon. Hopefully my co-host Pep, I call him Ant, Pepper31 on YouTube. Look him up. He's got a Pokemon card opening channel. It's cool stuff. It's very nostalgic, things like that. And he's my age, so you know, he's got a good affinity for the cards and things like that. And he has a good following. I think he's got like 160 something subscribers, maybe. But yeah, so basically, this is my shot of using the actual video for a YouTube channel that we have for our podcast. And then because I'm recording through my Yeti microphone, hopefully the audio isn't too bad. Hopefully the video quality will follow it. I've been kind of looking at cameras on and off. Cameras are really expensive. Right now I can't, it's not that I can't justify, because I can, because it'll help me with this podcast that I wanted to do for such a long time with all my friends and things like that. But it'll help with basically bringing the visuals to our podcast so you can see how we interact and things like that. We're going to New York Comic Con as well. Me and Pep. We're going to New York Comic Con in October. Maybe we'll see some of you guys out there. It would be super cool if somebody randomly walked up to us and was like, "Hey, you sound familiar. Are you one of the guys from In the Parking Lot?" Because that would be really cool. I'm thinking about business cards and things like that to bring to said convention, to maybe hand out and open up the audience a little bit to help us out. And maybe with more of the audience, we could get more. Obviously, this is new to me. I had to learn how to basically audio record and video record and edit and all these other things by myself, which has actually been pretty fun. So it hasn't been too bad. Excuse me, but I've been under the weather, so if I sound kind of weird, like my voice, it's because, I'm still kind of stuffy. But anyway, enough rambling. I guess that was shop talk. I guess you could call it that. The parking lot was being repaved, I guess is what you could call that. So, Toy Story 4. First impressions, I really liked it. Obviously, anyone my age has been waiting for this for quite a while. think I was talking about this with a friend that I went to, and basically he was saying, I think the Toy Story 3 came out 10 years ago, maybe 9 years ago. I think it was 2010. I'm not sure. Obviously, you guys can correct me if that's the case. So obviously we've been waiting for a very long time. I haven't really watched a Disney Pixar movie in quite a while. A Pixar movie or even a Disney movie in quite a while. I can't remember the last one. I mean, obviously the Marvel stuff, but obviously Marvel is kind of an offshoot of Disney proper, I guess. But yeah, Toy Story 4 was a whole lot of fun. I cried at a couple points. Not going to be embarrassed to admit that. And basically, yeah, it was a whole lot of fun. The look of it was amazing. Like, you could tell, like, even from the last movie, when you thought back to kind of how that was animated and how the graphics were and the CGI and all these other things, basically, because you saw the improvement. Like, I know a couple times Bo Peep was in it, and she's made of porcelain. She's a lamp. Spoilers. I guess the movie's very old. Hopefully you've seen it by now, but yeah, so Bo Peep is made of porcelain, and at certain points, the way the light would hit her, you would see kind of the shine of the porcelain, because obviously it's not skin, so obviously it's not like sweat or anything like that, but it's porcelain, so you see the nice like glimmer and a little glare on it when the light hits it, and a certain light hits her in a certain way, things like that. So visually it was stunning, I think. Little insight in my life, I actually wanted to be an animator for Pixar, formerly Pixar alone, but now Disney Pixar. I wanted to be an animator for them when I was little. I still might want to try to go back and maybe learn some little animation tricks to kind of improve my personal portfolio. But that's another talk for another day. Maybe we can discuss it at some other point. But basically, yeah, Toy Story 4. Let me put this mic down because it's super awkward to hold. So yeah, Toy Story 4 was a lot of fun. And I know you guys, the audio probably switched on you guys. I apologize for that. Maybe I can look into getting like a lapel mic or something like that. So when we do the recording, and hopefully the camera, we record through the mic and comes through nice and things like that. But I guess that's another talk for another time. So basically, Toy Story 4 was a lot of fun. It was very well written, in my opinion. Sorry, I have a thing I'm leaning on over here so I can get close to you guys, and obviously my head's cut off. But if I look down like this, you guys kind of doesn't help. And obviously the quality of the webcam on the MacBook isn't the greatest, but doing the best I can with what I got. It's a thing we say at work too. Anyway, Toy Story 4 was a lot of fun. It was all your original voice actors, so Tim Allen as Buzz, and then, gosh, I am forgetting his name, and I don't know why. The gentleman who does Woody, why am I blanking on his name? Hold on, it's going to bother me. So, I don't know why. Tom Hanks, wow, that's so bad. Why did I not think of that? I'm sorry, I apologize, guys. So the original voice actors are back. I don't remember the names of every single one of them, or I will go through for, like, obviously Buzz, Woody, same people. Jesse, you got Rex, you got Mr. Prickly Pants, you got Rex, said Rex already. Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head, you got Slink, you got the doll, I believe, from Toy Story 3, maybe 2. I don't quite remember. Like I said, I haven't seen too many Disney movies in a while, let alone Disney Pixar. So it's kind of been running around trying to figure it out. But story was very good. I thought the pacing was really well. There's a couple points in said story that I called kind of what was happening next. But it's to be expected. It's a kid's movie. I'm not thinking, crazy, like, story framing and things of that nature. And obviously I'm probably using the wrong language for doing this, but I'm not. I definitely love and enjoy movies, but I'm definitely not a director or a writer or a producer or anything like that. That can kind of tell you exactly what the name of things are. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I went to see it. I'll probably go back to see it. It was really cool. There's a lot of you had Key and Peele in there as. I wish I should probably have the. I should probably have the list, the cast list up on something so I could tell you guys exactly kind of who was who, things like that. Later, IMDb, don't bother me. Yeah, so okay, I'll run through it. Oh my god, I forgot about Forky. Anyway, so Tom Hanks is Woody, Tim Allen is Buzz, Andy Potts is Bo Peep, Tony Hale, which is Arrested Development, the gentleman from Arrested Development. He was Forky. You got Keegan Michael Key. He was Ducky. You have Madeline McGraw as Bonnie. You have Christina Hendricks as Gabby Gabby. You have Jordan Peele as Bunny. Keanu Reeves was Duke Kaboom, which I had no idea. I was actually sitting next to... Obviously, I was sitting next to the friend I went with to see the movie, and he was saying, "Oh man, I think this is Keanu Reeves." When Duke Kaboom kind of came in the frame, in the back of my mind, I was like, "There's no way, dude, no way." But it was, so that's cool. Ally Mackey was Giggle McDimples. Jay Hernandez was Bonnie's dad. Lori Allen was Bonnie's mom. Joan Cusack was Jessie. Bonnie Hunt was Dolly. Kristen Skull, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, is Trixie. Emily Davis was Billy Goat and Gruff. Wallace Shawn was Rex. John Ratzenberger was Ham. Blake Clark was the Slinky Dog. June Squibb was Margaret, the store owner. Carl Weathers was the Combat Cats, which was funny. There was a part when then there's like that, so the Combat Cats or Combat Carls. I don't know why I said cats. So the Combat Carls are basically, it's like a 3-figure set. There's like one normal camo, there's one snow camo, and there's one like just general. And then the guy with the snow camo outfit on basically never got a high five, or things wouldn't be completed in his favor, basically, which was like a running joke. Let's see. Don Rickles was Mr. Potato Head. Jeff Garland was Buttercup. Malia Barges kid was Loska. Jack McGraw was Young Andy. Julian Hanson was Miss Wendy. Wait, hold on. There's a lot of dead air, so I apologize for that. Bill Hader was Axel Lucarni, which is kind of interesting. Why can't I remember the name of the guy? Why am I having such a difficulty remembering actors' names? One of the dudes sounded like the guy from Big Mouth. If you guys watch Big Mouth, you guys know what I'm talking about. The taller kid with the glasses. Let me see. I think it was John Mulaney. Was he in anything? No, he was not. I made that up. So he must just have a similar sounding voice to somebody, because I'm not seeing his name come up for any of the credits, which is my fault. And I don't think it definitely wasn't Nick Kroll, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, no, it definitely wasn't. Anyway, let's go back all the way here. So the story opens up as basically, and now we'll get into the movie, kind of, I guess, finally, after all the rambling and things that I did. But we start out the movie with basically RC being stuck in kind of like a drainage ditch, I guess, for lack of a better term. It was raining really hard. It was storming out. The toys were on a rescue mission for RC because he was stuck in kind of like the offshoot of water. And this was, I think they said 9 years ago, if I remember correctly. So it was, so they did the, wow, I was going to say it was interesting, but obviously it was interesting. But sorry, I guess because the camera's on and I'm not talking to anyone, there's no like back and forth like how there usually is. So I'm stumbling over my words and saying so and things like that, a lot of dead air. But so RC's stuck and they do basically a rescue effort for him. They end up saving him. Obviously, they wouldn't. I don't think they'd start out on a low note like that. But basically, what I'm trying to get at is the fact that they showed Andy as a kid with RC, Buzz, Woody, Jesse, all those guys, the regular crew, I guess you could say. And then they fast forward, or they go through. They fast forward, and it turns out that. Or no, they don't fast forward. It's still kind of within that same time frame. And then they find out that Bo Peep was put in a box with someone else to be given to another kid. But then she left Andy's house. And then obviously Andy gave all his toys to Bonnie, which is the little girl that is the main child character of the story. And basically she's going into kindergarten and all these other. And this is a fast forward. Like a cliff noted version, I guess you could say. So she goes to play, things like that. She used Woody and everyone, Woody, Buzz, Jesse, the horse. I think his name is Bullseye, if I remember correctly. All those guys, she uses all of them, and then kind of time goes through and you kind of see her using less and less of Woody. It even goes to a frame when they're all in the closet because the mom was cleaning the room. And, Bonnie opens it, says hi toys, and grabs everything, but she leaves Woody in the closet, and then starts playing with Jesse and Buzz and Bullseye and all these other guys and these things like that. And there's a chair with a smiley face in there. Obviously they're talking now, so all these inanimate objects are talking, and basically like it was just, I just thought it was funny. It was a chair with a smiley face that was now frowning and talking and things like that. Then basically they were saying like, oh, like we're not really being used anymore, like she's grown past us or whatever the case may be. So, and I guess that kind of hits home with Woody because he's no longer with Andy. He started as Andy's toy. He helped Andy kind of through his life. If you saw the movies, Woody was pretty much always with Andy, and then Buzz was new, and then kind of reverse with what was happening with enter Forky later, was replacing Woody, and because I don't know, I guess kids grow out of toys, things like that. But anyway, Bonnie's getting ready to go to kindergarten. She's crying and all these other things. Woody feels bad. He's in the closet. He looks through, and he sees her like crying a little bit. So he jumps in her book bag. They're saying no toys in kindergarten because she can get in trouble. Woody didn't listen to that because he just wanted to make sure she was going to be set for her orientation in kindergarten, basically. So they go, and I'm saying all this. I know usually we try not to talk frame by frame, scene by scene for the movies when it's me and Ant, but it's kind of, I'm saying all this to set up the entrance of Forky. So kindergarten happens. She's obviously a little kid. She doesn't know anybody. So she walks into the classroom. She puts her book bag away in a cubby. And then Woody is still in her book bag, obviously. And then he looks out, sees she's having a bad time. She's a child. Obviously, she's basically not used to being alone kind of by herself and things like that without her toys. Because her toys would help her get through things like that. So basically, so Woody takes it upon himself, kind of like how he did with Andy back in the day. He took it upon himself to help Bonnie have a very good first day at kindergarten, which technically wasn't a first day because it was orientation, but you get the drift. So he basically, at one point, a kid took the arts and crafts that was in front of her that she was about to use to create something. I think it was a pencil holder, the teacher was saying. And basically, kid took it. He had an apple in his mouth, and he didn't say anything to Bonnie. It was very strange. But kind of, it's kids. It's a kid, so you kind of get where people are coming from and what's happening. So basically, long story even longer. He takes the arts and crafts bin, tosses it all in the trash. She starts, visually getting upset. Woody takes it upon himself to now get out of said book bag, run to the trash can, gather up some stuff, arts and crafts, whether that be markers, crayons, stickers, glue, clay, all these other things. Grabs it all, tosses it in front of Bonnie, basically, and the noise alerts her to look. And then, with that being said, that's when she creates Forky. And, there's a montage of her actually making Forky. And then when she finishes, she has 2 chopsticks as Forky's feet. And basically, she wrote Bonnie on the bottom of the feet. And if you're used to Toy Story lore, and maybe it's lore, I might have people come at my neck for this, but I think you could call it lore. Basically, the way they can talk is when kids own them, basically, like they belong to a child. So that's when they come to life, basically. And Bonnie wrote her name on the bottom of Forky, and Forky came to life. And I think right away he tried to go back into the trash can that was in the school. And obviously he's now a toy, so toys can't be seen by humans to, it's a walking toy. Who's gonna say that's a cool thing? Like, oh, this is normal. So basically Woody now takes heed over Forky and taking care of Forky and all these other things. And basically they get home. They talk about kindergarten. They say how, like, oh, she could have gotten in trouble. Like, you could have been confiscated. Worst comes to worst. Like, you couldn't have not been with us anymore. And things like that. And that's when Woody was like, no, she had a good day. She made a friend. And then all of them were like, oh, excuse me. All of them, like, all the toys, I should say, were like, oh, man, she made a friend. That's so awesome. And basically Woody's like, no, she, like, literally made a friend. Like, this is a friend that she actually made. So when he pulls Forky out of the book bag, he's obviously scared. He thinks he was trash, and now all of a sudden he's together. He can move arms and legs, and he can talk. And you have another toy randomly telling you, "Hey, you're a toy," things like that. So he's kind of like he's kind of really nervous and things like that. So basically, he kept trying to go into the trash. Woody is now basically his caretaker, because basically he came to realize that that Forky was basically the main thing in Bonnie's life at the current time, which I guess kind of reminded him of being with Andy to an extent that he wanted to take care of this kid as well as he took care of Andy. But that'll come back later on when the movie kind of add a little bit to plot and things like that. So basically, she finishes orientation. They talk. Forky gets introduced. He keeps trying to go into the trash can because he says that he's trash. And basically, while all this is happening, the parents come back in with Bonnie to her room. So obviously, you can't be walking and talking anymore. So they all kind of, do that. They all say Bonnie's coming, and then they just act inanimate, kind of like the way they left, the way that she left them. And basically Forky isn't feeling it, so he keeps trying to run away and stuff, and Woody's basically holding on to him. So that being said, they decide they're going on a vacation for a week, and this kind of sets up the next phase of the story. So basically, go on vacation. Everyone's in the RV. As they're in the RV, there's a travel montage of different things. The dino gas, I forget the name of it. Dinoco, maybe? From previous movies, like the gas stations. That was in the movie. that was really cool. I was a little upset because they never showed any indication of Pizza Planet, which was a little upsetting, but I just thought that would have been like a cool little Easter egg. And I'm sure there's a lot more that I missed personally that actually were in there that I probably will watch videos and things like that to see said Easter eggs. So they basically, Rude Train was just by, maybe you guys heard it. I know I did. So basically they end up at a carnival, traveling carnival in a small town. All through this, Woody's trying to keep Forky from, throwing himself in the trash, jumping into the trash, moving around while she's like looking at them and things like that. And basically at one point he jumps out the back of the RV, says he's trash. Woody takes it upon himself because he takes it upon himself to be his caretaker, and also jumps out to follow Forky. Everyone's like, no, like, what are you doing? Like, enough is enough. Like, you're gonna, it's not worth it, blah, blah, blah. So he jumps out. He gets shot out of the back of the RV. He tumbles a little bit, ends up seeing Forky like basically head down in the dirt because he's a spork. So the spork spicked words. The spork stuck in the ground. So like he was talking, but it was muffled, which I thought was kind of funny. I also thought it made a lot of sense, which was great. Because sometimes, kids' movies go away from, what's the phrasing? When you let go of reality, whatever that phrasing is, I don't quite remember. It's kind of the same thing in pro wrestling. Big WWE guy. Again, that's a story for another day. Well, you can talk about it. But is it disbelief? Belief? It's something along those lines. Basically, you let go of what actually is true and actually happens. I forget the phrasing that people would use when referring to it. But anyway, so they're walking back. He's talking to Forky, convincing him like, hey, you're now very important in Gabby's life. You're very important in Bonnie's life. You're a toy now. Like, kind of get it together, figure it out. Because, you're important now. Like, you matter. You're part of Bonnie's toys just as much as we're Bonnie's toys. And obviously that takes some kind of convincing because Forky's adamant about being trash. Which he was, because that's what Bonnie made him out of, was a spork. One of those flexi strings, like popsicle sticks, glue, tape, things like that. So basically, finally convinces him not an ongoing thing, like a little joke that was put into that scene was basically Forky's feet are like this, so he's kind of like, is that bow-legged or pigeon-toed? Pigeon-toed. It's definitely pigeon-toed. So he's pigeon-toed, so obviously he has to waddle, and he can't move as fast as Woody because Woody has legs, and his limbs are there enough for him to walk normal. So he kept asking him, like, hey, can you carry me? Hey, can you carry me? Hey, can you carry me? And Woody's like, no. And then when he started talking about Andy and kind of reminiscing and things like that, he finally was carrying him, things like that. And then finally they got to the town that Bonnie and her parents stopped at, which is within that moving carnival to that little town. And as they're walking to the RV, where the RV park is at, he's walking past an antique shop, sees a lamp. The lamp reminds him of something. The lamp is basically what Bo Peep was part of when she was with, I believe, Andy's sister at the time when she was brought into it. She was with, she basically, like, the lamp part was in the window in, like, an antique display for an antique store. So then Woody gets confused. He doesn't get confused. He gets caught up in the nostalgia. It's like, oh my God, like, I could possibly save two of my friends and bring them back to Bonnie, and then we'll finally all have kids. And then, so basically he goes into the said antique store. He meets, first I think he sees a tranquiloquist. What's the word? Now I'm just stumbling over English. He basically sees a hand puppet, but like the ventriloquist dummy. There you go. He sees a bunch of those. They kind of comes around him. There's one, and he turns around. There's another one. Turns around. There's another one. So obviously they're all free. Woody and Forky are freaking out and things like that. So then enter Gabby Gabby, which is a doll, basically like a doll. Basically, she's a doll. So she was made the same time frame as Woody, so they had the same voice box. But she was explaining how, like, I guess she's no. One of the ventriloquist dummies saw the pull string on the back of Woody, and I guess tried to pull it, and then Woody like slapped him away because he doesn't like. I guess he just doesn't like getting his string pulled. And basically, she kind of says, "Oh, like I wonder if we were built in the same factory. Like my disc is working still, that has like my voice lines on it, but my voice box isn't working." So then they kind of slowly hint at like, "Oh, okay, so this is going to be the evil person, so to speak, within the movie now." Kind of like how Lotso was like nice at first, and then he got evil in the last movie. So basically, the train of thought, definitely just lost it. So basically, sorry, I just jumped back on it. So basically, the voice box is something she's trying to get. She's now holding on to Woody and Forky, and he only got into the antique shop because he was looking for Bo Peep. Bo Peep obviously wasn't there. That's kind of foreshadowing for the next part of what's coming up. And basically, that brings me to my other thought. Sorry, I'm very scatterbrained. A lot of weird things happen today. Not really weird as much as just kind of, I don't know, what's the word I could use? Today wasn't a normal day. Like, I happened to be off from work. Cool. But, you know, I didn't really have any plans or plan to enjoy myself at all. And basically, we're doing errands and, you know, adult stuff, which is never fun. But anyway, back to the movie. So they talk about Woody's voice box. Woody's voice box just reminded me of the fact that him and Buzz had kind of an interaction earlier that basically was like, how do you decide? Buzz was like, how do you decide what to do? And Woody's like, I don't know, there's a voice. There's a voice inside of me, and I kind of just listen to it. So then Buzz looks at his pull string. He's like, oh, there's a voice inside of you, eh? And he's like, yeah, like my conscious, like things like that. And obviously he's the toy, so he can't, Buzz doesn't completely understand that kind of aspect. But he told him, yeah, like it's me. It's my voice inside of me telling me what to do and how to do things and things like that. So basically, Buzz is now figuring out to listen to himself. So he will like press the buttons on his chest, and then whatever his voice box says, he's like, oh, okay, that's what I'll do. So he's like constantly going to it for advice and things like that. So basically, Woody, some things happen. I think they instantly try to take out his voice box, like Gabby Gabby and then the ventriloquist dummies. I forget their names. I don't know why. I literally saw the movie yesterday and I forgot their names. But anyway, Gabby Gabby basically, and her henchmen, we'll call them. Her henchmen dummies, we'll call them. Basically, I think they tried to take his voice box out like right that moment, and then he managed to escape. And he get, I guess, sequence of events, blah, blah, blah. He ends up in a park randomly. But not with Forky. I think he escaped, but Forky was still being held by Gabby Gabby and things like that. Or, oh, no. I'm sorry. There's a kid, her name was Harmony, and she ended up seeing Woody on the floor because people were coming because the store was opening. So, you know, he dropped down. He did the Andy's coming and then kind of fell out, basically. So the girl basically looks at him, says, hey, can I take him to the park? Mom's like, yeah, sure, whatever. You have enough toys. Well, like the grandma, which ran the antique shop of the little girl, basically like, yeah, you can take them whenever. So she goes to the park with Woody. Something happens when she just basically drops him, and then she goes off to do something else. Then he, wakes back up, and then he sees like these random toys popping out of the sandbox that he's in. And, the ground starts shaking. Like you see a bus pull up, and the ground starts shaking. And then the 3 soldier toys, I already forgot the name of them, and I just read it off. But the soldier toys basically said, get ready to get played with, basically. So Woody's still stuck on like, wait, none of these guys are my kid. Like, why am I going to let them play with me and things like that? If I could just, I could just go and basically, go back to Bonnie, grab Forky, go back to Bonnie, and be home, basically. So all that happens, and then from that point, that's when he gets saved by Bo Peep. Bo Peep has been a lost toy for the last, I think she said 7 years, 8 years maybe. And she's like, oh my God, I love it. Like, you're playing with a new kid every day. Like, you don't have to worry about getting left behind or worried about or anything like that, because you're basically, it's open. It's free range for everyone. And, because the kids are constantly coming, you have new kids and you're always being played with. So then with that, her sheep are there. Giggle McDimples is there, which is basically like a tiny... What was the name of the actual toy? I don't know why I'm blanking on that. But it was like Pocket something. Pocket Pals, maybe something like that. That was like the actual toy name that came out. And basically she was there. They had an RC dressed up as a skunk so they can move around, which is a great idea, which I thought was very clever. And basically, like, Bo Peep was basically telling him, like, hey, like, I'm cool with being lost and all these other things. And he's steady trying to convince her, like, hey, we can go back to Gabby. Like, you can have a home again. You can be with everyone else again. And, she falls off a little bit and starts remembering the reminiscing and things like that. Remembering Rex and Jesse and Buzz and Slink and Mr. Potato Head, Mrs. Potato Head, and all those guys. Because, she's their friends. These guys are her friends, and she misses them. She misses them and things like that. So, with that being said, that's when Woody starts slowly realizing, kind of, maybe this isn't meant for me. Like, I apologize. So he gets stuck. He's more so worried about himself. He's more so worried about Forky being Bonnie's Woody to hit. Okay, this is going to sound very weird, but basically his main takeaway from his current situation is basically Forky is to Bonnie like Woody was to Andy. So since it's the most important toy in his life, she's going everywhere. She's sleeping with Forky and all these other things, and he's constantly trying to leave and go away, and on their walk back to the RV park / town area, that's when I guess Forky realized, kind of like, hey, like, maybe this is a good thing. Like, maybe I do belong, things like that. I'm not trash anymore, things like that. So basically, God, I don't know why I'm blanking. I feel like I'm talking too much about it. Let me know if anyone decides to leave comments, I guess. I know we don't have too many subscribers. I think maybe 6 or 10 or something. But if someone's like, oh, hey, you're talking way too much, Eli, like, tone it down. Like, just talk about how you feel about the movie and move on. So basically, okay, so I'll take my own advice finally, and I'll go from there and just say it basically turns into a rescue mission across the board for Buzz, for Woody, for Bo Peep, for everyone. So they and then Forky is like the main component of the whole kind of thing. So basically, they figure out plans on what to do and how to save Forky and all these other things. And Buzz gets introduced to 2 stuffed animals, which are Key and Peele, or voiced by Key and Peele. They did an awesome job. One of the most of the times when I laughed, it was those 2. It was the 2 stuffed animals that they were voicing that made the jokes, or just were really funny, or whatever the case may be. So Buzz met them, and then same time he's trying to find Woody. Woody's trying to find Forky, and they keep crossing paths and things like that without knowing. And then at one point they finally see each other, and they're like, "Oh, this is the plan to save Forky," and all this other stuff. And then that's when the team up happens. The team up happens with it's Bo Peep, Giggles McDimples. Sorry, it just sounds weird for me saying that, but Bo Peep, Giggles McDimples, Woody, Duke Kaboom. They finally got him on team. So Keanu Reeves, the two stuffed animals, which are Bunny and Ducky, Buzz, and the sheep. No, the sheep stayed on to one of the ventriloquist dummies when they ran into each other the one time. So the sheep are out of the equation. So it's kind of a saving effort for all of them. So basically, they end up saving her. But they end up saving Woody, and then they all get out. But through the events, I'll let you guys watch the movie and see the details of what happened, because if I ramble anymore, I might get on my own nerves. But basically, the events lead up to only Woody getting saved, and Woody's like, "No, Bonnie needs Forky. This is a thing that needs to happen." So basically, he goes back by himself, runs into Gabby, runs into the ventriloquist dummies, and is defensive. I think he had a pencil that he was using as a weapon. And basically, because Forky was telling Gabby about all the things that they were talking about on the walk back to the town / RV park / carnival, she kind of was able to cater what she was going to say to Woody, because now she knows kind of where his head's at and what he feels like and kind of what he went through and things like that. So basically she says, you had a bunch of chances to be excuse me, you had a bunch of chances to be some kids everything, and I have yet to be that chance because I'm always getting passed up, because she thinks it's just the voice box. The voice box is the fact that the girl Harmony that she wants to go home with is the reason why she's not picking her up. So Woody, finally realizes and gives her his voice box. Don't worry, guys, he can still talk. He still has the magic of Andy's writing on the bottom of his feet. So he ends up giving her the voice box that he had, so then she can all of a sudden have one that actually works, because like I said, they're both built during the same time, possibly in the same factory, so kind of similar components. So from that, he gets stitched up. He's like, all right, cool. The only way I'll do it is if you give me Forky. She gives him Forky. They leave. They go back, and then it's a whole big thing of trying to get back to Bonnie and her parents, because they're ready to leave. The whole time this is going on, the saving effort and all these other things. The toys that are still in the RV are trying to figure out how to basically postpone them from leaving, because now Buzz is gone, as well as Woody. And they don't really care about Forky too much. They kind of learn to love him. But their biggest things was Forky, Buzz, and Woody aren't back, so we got to make sure we kind of put them off from leaving as long as possible. I don't know why I just used the word and I just forgot the word I was going to use, but so basically this whole they're having this whole big effort while they're trying to save Forky and all these other guys that basically they're just trying to stop them from leaving. So I think Jesse pops tires at one point, and that takes a very long time because it's an RV, so Dad's going to go out and change their tires. Which still gives them time to, figure out a plan and to formulate something that can keep them from leaving without Woody, Buzz, and Forky. Why did I put 4? Woody, Buzz, and Forky. And this whole time that this is happening, they obviously save Forky. They're on their way back. They're trying to figure out how to get there and things like that. And almost the whole time, Woody's come back with us. You can get a life again, and remember the kid you had and how much you meant to her, and you can mean that much to Bonnie and all these other things. But she basically, you know, she kind of felt it, but then she realized, like, hey, being a lost toy has been like one of the best things that's ever happened to me in her life, basically. So the fact that she doesn't have to worry about the one child outgrowing her and getting rid of her. She can make a bunch of different kids happy because they're playing with her and things like that. So basically, all this is happening. They try to get back. There's a whole sequence of trying to get back and things like that. A running joke was the stuffed unicorn. I don't know why I'm not remembering the stuffed unicorn's name. But the whole time he's basically saying, let's do something to get Bonnie's dad in jail because that will give them enough time to get back to the RV and all this other stuff. So now so he fixes the tire. They're on their way out, and then they figure out, hey, that he's only following the GPS that they're using to get back home. So then one of them acts like they're the GPS voice. It's kind of a cool, like, exchange. But yeah, so then they change it. They basically do it. I think they unplug the GPS so that it's just buffering, like recalculating, like that kind of screen with like the 3 dots that like come in and out. So basically, they do that. They work their GPS back to the carnival so like Woody and Buzz and possibly Bo Peep can get back to him, and possibly the other toys too, like Bunny and Ducky and I think maybe even Duke Kaboom and things like that. So basically, all this stuff transpires. There's a bunch of different things and things like that. Gabby at one point gets passed up by the girl Harmony, which she thought was a child that was going to take her home, and finally she doesn't have to live on the shelf anymore. That doesn't go down. It's kind of a creepy doll. Don't blame the little kid. But with that being said, Forky leaves with everyone else. Woody's again left behind. Good guy Woody. And basically he convinces Gabby to come with them so that she could be a new toy to Bonnie. So then that way she has a home. She gets what she wants, and you know, she's able to, sorry about that. She's able to basically, you know, live her life like the way she wanted to for such a long time. Like, he convinced her Harmony's not the only child, and I think the same time he said that, he kind of realized like his place in the world isn't with Bonnie anymore. Like, Forky is the main thing for Bonnie and all this other stuff. So there's a whole effort happening to get back to the RV. The toys on the RV are now taking control of the RV, basically getting under where the gas pedal's at and the brake, and like pressing the gas, braking, and then one of them acting like GPS to bring them back to the carnival, to the carousel specifically, because that was kind of like their hiding place, the lost toys. So they do that. Fast forward, they finally get back to the carousel. Now it's time is happening. They open everyone's on top of the carousel, and one character is missing. That character being Gabby, because on the way there was a child who was lost, and basically Gabby kind of took what Woody said to heart about Harmony not being the only child that she can go home with and live a life with. So she sees this little girl crying and sobbing and kind of by herself in this corner because she's lost. So then they react a plan that basically brings the child to Gabby. The child then picks up Gabby, looks at her and is like, "Oh man, you must be lost too." And she pulls her back string, and because her voice box works now, I think she says, "Hi, my name's Gabby. Will you be my friend?" So then the girl, hugs her tight. That's when I started crying. It wasn't like sobbing, but it definitely was tears. I had to go like this a couple times. Maybe I hit some Denzel tears. But basically, she now has a child. Her life goes on. Now they're getting back to the RV so they can try to continue their life with Bonnie. They get there. Everyone, Woody has a deciding moment, basically. And obviously, I'm not going super into detail because the rambling is honestly bothering me a little bit. But Woody comes to terms with the fact that he might not be Bonnie's toy anymore. Just the way Andy outgrew him, and Bonnie's outgrowing him, and now she likes Forky. Keep saying that. Now she likes Forky because she made him, things like that. So then, and the love of his life basically was Bo Peep, and he did all this to find her as well, and try to convince her to live life with Bonnie. But then, he kind of realizes, like, maybe being not only harping on one child and being something great for a bunch of different children is kind of the way to go. So basically, he decides to stay with the Lost Toys. Super cool. He ends up giving Jessie his sheriff badge because she basically is the replacement for Woody now within Bonnie's life. And basically does all that. Hugs are given out. He hugs Slink, he hugs Rex, he hugs Buzz, he hugs Jessie. Buzz was the last guy. He embraces him like it was a brother, because it basically was his brother for all the movies. And maybe I'm reading too much into it, but that's what I think is kind of they built, this is their family, and they built this family. And now he's deciding to kind of stray away from said family, so to start a new life with a new family. So they all say goodbye. They wrap each other up. They hug each other. They wrap it up. Then Bonnie's parents finally leave. They got now it's full cast minus Woody with Bonnie, and now Woody is with Bo Peep, the sheep, Giggles McDimples, Duke Kaboom, Bunny and Ducky, with all those guys, and now he's part of the Lost Toys. So basically, he kind of goes back to phase one, because there's this interaction between Ducky and Bunny and Buzz at one point, because he gets caught by a kid that runs kind of like in a carnival game, and he kind of gets put on the wall as one of the prizes, as the main prize. So then, because Buzz got out and all these other things, and the fact that Ducky and Bunny kind of have that connection anyway to that particular carnival ride and how they saw kids get happy and things like that, they basically ran it, because the kid's like typical teenager, summer job, like very, very stereotypical with how he did things and how he acted. And basically he always had headphones on, so he wasn't really paying attention. So he basically, Woody, Bo Peep, Ducky and Bunny, and Duke Kaboom and all those guys, they basically were helping kids that were playing get toys, because now it's like, all right, finally we really kind of realize like we can do a big difference and help other toys get to a family and all these other things. So it was a good movie. I liked it a lot. I'll probably go see it again, maybe with my co-host Ant, so we could talk about it as a group, and the exchange will be a little bit better, besides me complaining for the first 20 minutes about audio and visual things, and then going scene by scene and getting annoying, and then switching up how I was talking to change to kind of major points in the story that I liked. But yeah, basically that's it. Thanks for sticking with me through this very awkward, very random, shitty quality video that I'm recording using my webcam on my MacBook Pro, which luckily I was able to link the audio to the microphone, so at least it won't sound crappy, but it'll look pretty shitty. Like, I don't even think this is 360p to the point to what I'm talking about. So yeah, basically, hopefully, we figure out this video thing and we get you guys some nice content through video for our YouTube channel. I know we're working on a few things to try to get to streaming platforms, whether that be like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and things like that, so our audience kind of broadens and the people that we have already are going to slowly be part of a bigger family. Because this is one of the things that me, all my friends, especially me and Ant, because we kind of hit off the co-hosting and stuff like that for the podcast, for the episodes that we've done so far. it's something we talked about for a while. I think our opinions and how we view things are entertaining and valid to an extent that I feel like other people can enjoy it and maybe feel the same way opinion wise about, whether that be movies, comics, whatever the case may be. And with that being said, next episode, when it's both going to be me and Ant, we're going to basically not interview, but we're basically going to talk about why we got into geek culture and pop culture, and why we like comic books and why we like these movies and why these characters mean so much to us and things like that. Hopefully that'll be next episode, and hopefully it's not a huge wait from now till then. He's been very busy. I've been pretty busy trying to battle being sick, and things like that, and then working and then all this other stuff. But we have to find time because this is something that we've wanted for a while. And hopefully the camera and the audio things align as we move on through this journey of ours that we're taking through the vice of podcasting. So basically, yeah, I think that's it. That's all I saw recently that might have anything to do with kind of what we talk about. So yeah, this is Eli, aka eCarm32, coming at you from the Bat Cave in the parking lot. Hopefully my co-host will come next time. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at eCaram, EKARAM as in Mary 32 on Instagram and Twitter. I have a Facebook. It's under my personal name. I actually think about deleting Facebook because I really don't use it that often, and it's kind of just excess that I don't feel like dealing with. And I feel like with this, Instagram and Twitter and things like that would make more sense for this platform that we're slowly working on. Hopefully, when Comic-Con comes, we figure out a vlogging situation. I think that'll be a lot of fun because it'll be our first time, me and my co-host. It'll be our first time basically going to a big convention like this. I think it's the biggest in the country, maybe the second biggest behind San Diego. I know San Diego just happened. There's a couple of exclusives I'm trying to get to, as far as Funko Pops and just cool pop culture comic stuff that's related to kind of what we like. So yeah, this is Eli, and hopefully you guys stick around and join us for the next one. Peace, guys.